Today, I'm conducting a bit of an experiment, and if you stick around long enough, I might just reveal to you what that experiment is. Hello, welcome to My Daily Walk, the show where I, an anonymous Hollywood guy, walk around and talk about anything and everything, except those things I'm contractually obligated to conceal. That's the show. If you're just joining us, if this happens to be the first episode you decided to listen to, then welcome aboard. There's an email address that I really encourage anyone who happens upon this file, this 30-minute, extemporaneous, pontification or whatever I'm doing here. If this is the first one you stumbled upon, I want it to be interactive. I want you, if you find it interesting, that's meaningful to me. I don't know how many people will find this interesting. Oh, I've got to avoid. I am actually walking through my neighborhood, so I will have the show has a bit of a random format. I will change my subject on a dime because I'm walking around and being distracted by things in my neighborhood. Yes. In fact, that's the first time I've even said where my normal walking pattern is. I have, different directions to walk. Go around this block, around that one. But that was the first time in 4 weeks. This is the end of the fourth week. In 4 weeks, I've never overtly stated that this daily walk is around the neighborhood where I live. I've hinted at it, and perhaps if you've listened to all of them prior to this, then maybe you've already deduced that, or maybe never even crossed your mind. But so now, will I be able to find my way back to where the topic I was talking about? Probably not. Sometimes I don't. I mean, if I'm on a topic, which is the format of the show. The format of the show is again, if you're new, every day of the week is a different theme. Mondays are a meditation Mondays. Tuesdays, I reflect back on my life. I was going to say childhood, but really it's my whole life up to this point. And it's right now I'm calling it life lessons. I don't know if I've learned the lessons. I'm just reflecting back and seeing if there's something I can learn or if I did learn, but they're self-contained little stories. Wednesdays are topical. I have a list of topics that interest me, and my interests are extremely diverse. I'm a science enthusiast. I do follow mostly national politics and certain international politics. I love travel. I've just done more traveling in the past year and a half than I've done in my entire life combined. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've traveled around the United States, everywhere except Alaska and Hawaii and Maine probably, but I've been in several New England states. Anyway, I digress. So I have many varied interests. Theology, philosophy, sports, entertainment, music, movies, TV, you name it. And I'm not going to walk this direction because there's a leaf blower. So, welcome to the show if this is your first time. So, Wednesdays are topical, and Thursdays are also thematic. They are the insights that I've gained in the years that I've worked in the entertainment industry. That's what I do. I'm the Hollywood guy, and it's funny. It's like, I'm just laying claim to it. irrefutable and irrevocable. It's just, I'm here. I found myself here. I don't know how I landed here. It was something I wanted to do since I was 7, but I didn't go straight into it. I didn't graduate from high school and go into film school and get a job as a, in a studio. I didn't follow that route. My life went, that's for Tuesdays, so I won't go on that right now, but Thursdays are, I got my foot in the door at some point, and here I am. I find myself here. And then Fridays. Fridays are still up in the air. I'm calling it Freeform Friday right now. That's today. And, well, let me get to the experiment. I won't hold you until the last few seconds as the clock is ticking down to 30 minutes. No. Today's experiment is I didn't plan on anything. I didn't plan a topic. I did every other day of the week has something. Today doesn't. And so today I got up. I said, I was going to talk about this. I was going to talk about that. But those two things actually work together. And I was already planning on talking about it on that day. So then I thought, wait, there will be a time, well, maybe, and this is the speculation, this is the unknown. The great unknown right now is, and I'll tell you, I've recorded 4 weeks of this project before it ever started airing. So that email address that I've been saying for the last 4 weeks, to me, nobody would hear it until now, or until, you're hearing it now. So, but go back to the beginning 4 weeks ago, and go back 4 weeks before that is when I recorded this. If you can do that, not math, but if you could do that reasoning in your head, about 2 months ago, if you're listening to this today, it is posted. 2 months ago was the day that I recorded it. And so 1 month ago was the first time I don't think I even mentioned the email address, because I didn't have it for the first week. I didn't have an email address for this show the first week of production, or first week of recording. But I had it by the end of that week. So it might be Tuesday or Wednesday when I first mentioned the name. I think I had the idea for not the name, but the email address. I think I had the idea for the email address before I started recording. So maybe I mentioned it the first day. Anyway, I digress. I always go and boil things down a little further than I need to. But this day, Friday, I will reserve for those emails if and when they come rolling in. I know I'll get at least one. And that's from Mom, because she, I'm relatively certain she'll listen daily, I don't know, to every single one, I don't know. That's asking a lot even from my mom, because it's 2.5 hours a week. Some people don't have that to squeeze in. It's more than 2.5 hours a week. It's 5 30-minute shows a week plus whatever I decide to do on Saturday. So, it's under 3 hours a week. And for me to squeeze it in to do it is a huge, that's carving out some time. And I'm busier than I've ever been in my life. Let's just say that. And so lots of people won't be able to carve out that much time. I hope Mom can carve out. Let me speak directly to you, Mom. I imagine you'll be able to carve out some time. I'm not putting the pressure on you. I'm doing it because I know you want to know what's going on in my life and hang out or talk, and this is the best way. I can't do a half-hour phone call with my mom every day. That would be awesome, but let's just try it this way. Where was I? Oh, so There will be at least one email. I have no idea if this thing, My Daily Walk. Oh, did I say the email address? Gee, MyDailyWalk at thiswaytv.com. I didn't even say it. Ooh, that's not good. I gotta say the email address early. Maybe I said it and I totally forgot. Hey, this is the experiment. I didn't have anything planned to say today, so I'm just talking. So Fridays will be reserved for emails. Mom, I know you'll have something to say or pick a topic, and that's what it is. I think initially speculating the possibility that I might gain a following or an audience, that the numbers of people who discover this, stumble upon this podcast, that they would increase, whether it's goes from 1 mom to 2, whoever, to 5. I'm serious. Like, if I had 5 regular listeners to the things that I think about and have to say, that would be all right. That'd be worth it. Well, it's worth it if it's just my mom listening. Seriously, I'm like, what? Why not? It's easy to do. It's quick. I'm thinking out loud. I'm processing information. When you thinking and talking are very, very different things. You can think and process and writing. Okay, those 3 modes of processing knowledge, right? Thinking, speaking, writing. So this is productive to me personally. I feel like it's a meditation, and if my mother, somebody's running by, late for school maybe, I don't know. Oh, for a workout. If I know I have at least one person listening, that changes the dynamic. It's one thing if I'm just talking, and it's another if I'm processing some information. A friend of mine just ran by. I don't know if she's in a hurry somewhere or if she's just working out. And it's like, oh, that I haven't done my run yet today. Anyway, so that'll happen too. Losing my train of thought because I'm processing my neighborhood and what's going on around me. So those are all the interesting dynamics that occur on this show. And let me check to see, because the recording device has a running clock. I can check how far in I am and how much longer I have to just come up with something to talk about. And that is the experiment today. It was the experiment on the test walk. If you listen to the first Saturday special, I think it was the very first time I did a 30-minute walk and talk with a recording device. I did it once without one. I was just testing this idea. Just go meditate, walk and talk. I keep walking around one particular street because I keep running into noise everywhere else. I picked a different time of day and I thought it was going to be a better time of day, and it is not. It's like, oh, now there's a lawnmower in the same direction. I just got to go back a different way. I don't like being around cars, lawnmowers, and other people walking around, which it's unavoidable. I just, when I did the practice, I said, well, it's like talking to yourself. It is talking to yourself because your ears are hearing it, even if other people are hearing it. And so I my test walk, I put one of my Bluetooth earbuds in my ear as if I were listening to someone or talking to someone, because you can do that. You can walk around and talk to yourself. If you have an earbud in, nobody knows that you're talking to yourself. They think you're talking to some person. on the other side of the planet or somewhere else. Well, the fact is, according to some worldviews, you are never, ever only talking to yourself. And some worldviews would say, obviously, I was referring to theology, where God is the view that God is a person and intelligent and processes knowledge. Well, I don't know that he processes knowledge. He is, or that's the viewpoint, that you are never ever just talking to yourself, but every time you talk, you are always also talking to yourself, no matter who else is listening. So maybe that's a fortune cookie. Just write those two sentences down. You are never ever only talking to yourself when you think you are, and you are always talking to yourself, even when you think you're talking just to other people. Okay, I've rephrased it. You can go back to the transcript and pull that out and suss it out and see if there's anything there, if that's anything profound. Anyway, it's a seed thought. You can process that, and maybe it'll impact you in some way if you realize when you walk around your thoughts. Oh, that's where we were. Oh, we found our way back. Remember exactly what I was talking about when I was distracted by my neighbor running by. Or my friend, not direct neighbor, but anybody in the neighbor. 3 forms of processing information: thinking about it, talking about it, writing about it. This could be a topic for Topical Wednesdays, but they're very different. And the way this, I think, is benefiting me personally in multiple ways, and I may have mentioned some of this in previous episodes. I'm doing this to train myself to speak in public. If that day comes, I will have this self-training, I suppose. I suppose that's something you can... I often say I'm killing multiple birds with one stone. Like I'm up to 7 or 8 birds that I'm killing with this one stone, this 30-minute recording. And one of them is extemporaneous public speaking training. Look at these 4 weeks of extemporaneous public speaking training, self-training. So if anybody wants to listen to that, cool. If anyone finds it interesting at all or valuable at all, that's like bonus, an honor. And if you listen long enough, you'll hear me cry. And I think I did cry like the first or second day. I was thinking about something, like dogs, pet I had. I don't know. I just welled up in tears. I don't know if it came through. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But Freeform Friday, this, I would say, is literally the first episode of Freeform Friday. So welcome to a new weekly theme, finally. Oh, and then another thing I was going to say that I don't think I finished. Initially, on Freeform Friday, speculating if the audience does show an uptick, instead of just one person listening forever and ever, and it goes to 2 people listening, or 5 people listening regularly forever and ever, however long, I don't know, as long as I keep doing this, and then what if it goes to like 15 people listening, and then 20, 23, 27. If it gets to 100, even that's just mind-boggling to me, that 100 people. So those are big numbers. Those are big numbers to me. I won't go. My mind wants to go in a couple different directions right now. Let's pick one. Well, let's get back to the one I was talking about. If that gradual increase does happen, and the logical assumption would be that emails would increase, like a percentage of the audience will want to engage, a percentage, and that'll be interesting to see what percentage, because those are all numbers you can factor in. If there are regular listeners and you get one email in 10 listeners, one email in 100 listeners, or 5 emails in 1,000, I don't know. I don't know if there's normal ratios or if everybody's different audiences are more engaged. And so that's part of this experiment. That's one of the other birds. It's a sociological experiment to see what interests people. You see how to build an audience. I mean, it's a show, and there's an audience of one. That's me. I mean, I don't listen back. I listened to it the first time. I did listen back to Wednesday's episode. This Wednesday is the first one I've listened back to the whole thing, top to bottom. I've spot checked some. I've listened to pieces. Obviously, when I was working with the filter, I listened to pieces. But the first episode that I personally have listened to front to back, there was one interruption, which was very interesting, and I journaled about it. There was this little ironic knock on the door when I was 75% through my listen. I was sitting in one spot wanting to listen to the whole thing, and I got interrupted. So what the Fridays will become, if the audience grows. Initially, here's the assignment, Mom. Pick a topic. Duh. It's not even an assignment. She would do it spontaneously. You would do it spontaneously, even if I never asked you. See, my mom doesn't even know that this is happening. I don't think I even told her yet. I just told her a surprise is coming. That's right. All right, so in the part of the process I'm at right now is I've got the website up and running. I've got a guy who will schedule all the posts. Because I've recorded 4 weeks after this episode is done, because I've recorded 4 weeks already, he's got them all, and he's going to schedule them, and there's dates on the calendar, and a new one will pop up every day. And I told my mom that I had a surprise for her, but I don't think I told her anything else. All right, so Mom, I'm talking to you right now. A month ago, 2 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago. I know I don't have to ask you to send a topic, but here's your assignment. Send a topic for the very first topic on Freeform Friday. All right, Freeform Friday will be just this until that first topic comes in, and so this is for the first Freeform Friday, and then that one will be the first Freeform Friday with a topic. Then what eventually I think will happen is the Fridays I'll start reading more emails, as if, again, the logical assumption, if the audience picks up, if there's some audience that starts listening, that the email topics or the email interaction will also, see a proportional uptick. And Fridays will become, there'll be topics initially with few emails, and then I'll start reading more emails and narrow it down to talking about maybe multiple topics on a Friday briefly. And then I want to read all the emails, and that may end up being the Saturday special. The Free Stuff Saturday is I just start reading through emails if and when the audience interaction, the audience period ticks up. And you, Mom, right now, and anybody who's listening, I encourage you that if there are any episodes that you think someone else would enjoy, I don't want to push a lot of self-promotion. I do think I need to be a good steward if this is something valuable. If you heard something that you think is important to convey to someone else, or that someone else would benefit from, send them that link. Man, that's it. I'm just going to disclose right here. I've been wandering around this one area for the whole time, and it's like I try to get out. It's like there's a corner and a cul-de-sac, and I've been trying to get out on all the exits. There's like 3 exits, and I keep coming to leaf blower, lawnmower, leaf blower, as I'm walking down this way, and then it starts up in the distance, and I have to turn around, and I'm approaching the exit finally. Oof. All right, so that's my breakdown on what I think could happen on Fridays. If I continue doing this, if you as the listener think about someone in your life right now that might benefit. Like the reason I listen to the Wednesday show, the 100 billion nuclear bombs, I just felt good when I feel good about many of them. Some of them I'm like, I wonder how that was. I don't listen back. It's raw and unedited. But Wednesdays, I like the way it ended. Oh my gosh. I was like, ooh. What happens is, as I'm doing now, is I end up looking down at the recording device, which has the ticker on it. And if I go off on a tangent, if I go off talking about something, I'm not looking at the recording device. I'm looking at my neighborhood. I'm walking around. See, I'm trying to get out of this cul-de-sac to find another quiet place, and I just can't. All right, if I'm not looking down, it ticks away, and sometimes I look down and I have like 30 seconds left. I'm like, oh. It's like, ooh, I better wrap this up. How am I going to wrap it up? And so I just keep talking. It's extemporaneous. I keep my lips moving, sound coming out, and something's pouring through, some kind of logic, some kind of information that I think is truth. I don't know if it resonates with you as truth, then fantastic. So now I'm looking down and I got 2 minutes. So sometimes I reorient and I'm like, okay, what can I talk about in 2 minutes? Well, it's really just that, what I just said. This whole thing is simply opening my mouth and forcing sound to come out and attempting to sound coherent, attempting not to sound like a babbling fool, like a bumbling idiot. It's like, oh, if I were approached with a microphone like the one in my face right now, but against my will, if someone came up to me and asked me a question, who knows what that might be, would I be able to trust the utterances that come from within? Well, if I've been doing this for a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years before that thing happened, I think I'm in good shape. I think if I all right, so that little thought process there, I was entertained by it. Were you? And literally, it just spontaneously, those thoughts occurred. Like, oh, that may happen. I hadn't thought before about that. I'd never pondered that before, that someone might ever stick a microphone in my face unexpectedly and ask me a question with a camera rolling or something. Like, that hasn't happened to me. Okay, that's a little revelation. I am a Hollywood guy, but not that kind. There are plenty of those around. It's happened to friends of mine, and, well, we'll see. The clock is ticking down. I'm getting nervous. How am I going to end this? But that was the experiment. That was first Freeform Friday. You heard it unfold, and I'm enjoying myself.